The LGBT community has a long and controversial history within the United States military. In March of 1778, Lieutenant Gotthold Frederick Enslin became the first documented service member to be dismissed from the U.S. military for being a homosexual, and he was dismissed from the Continental Army under an order from General George Washington. In 1942, military psychiatrists warned that psychopathic personality disorders make homosexual individuals unfit to fight. The military then issues the first formal regulations to list homosexuality as an excludable characteristic, and those in the military identified as homosexuals can be discharged and denied veterans benefits. In January of 1950, Army regulation is published identifying 3 categories of homosexuals, and then based on the category that you fell into, you could either be subjected to general court-martial, accept a dishonorable discharge or resign, or be removed from service under general or honorable discharge. 1957, Captain S.H. Crittenden chairs a U.S. Navy Board of Inquiry that issues a report concluding there is no sound basis for the belief that homosexuals pose a security risk. And then in July of 1976, the U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. upholds the decision of the U.S. Air Force to discharge Technical Sergeant Leonard Matlevick after he admits to being a homosexual. Matlevick then appeals the district court's ruling, but they would eventually accept a honorable discharge and cash settlement in order for him to drop the case. In 1981, the Department of Defense issues a directive stating that homosexuality is incompatible with military service and that those committing homosexual acts could face mandatory discharge. Then in a report in 1988 commissioned by the Department of Defense, the Defense Personnel Security, Research, and Education Center supports the conclusions of the 1957 Crittenden report that homosexuals pose no significant security risk. Jump to 1992. During his presidential campaign, Governor Bill Clinton promises that if elected, he would allow military service by all who would otherwise qualify to serve, regardless of sexual orientation. However, in November of 1993, he fails to overcome the opposition to allowing gays to serve openly, and then signs into law the current policy known as Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Although often referred to as a compromise, the policy defined homosexuality as an unacceptable risk to the high standards of morale, good order, and discipline, and the act stated that military personnel could not discriminate against closeted individuals. However, it barred openly homosexual individuals from serving. And then while Don't Ask, Don't Tell was in effect, 14,000 members of the United States Armed Forces were discharged. Jump to 2010, President Obama announces during his State of the Union address that this year he will work with Congress and our military to finally repeal the law that denies gay Americans the right to serve the country they love because of who they are. Jump to November of that year, the Department of Defense releases a report concluding that the repeal of the ban on gays in the armed forces would have minimal negative impact on the military's effectiveness. And then in December of 2010, the House of Representatives, along with Senate, vote to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and then a week later, President Barack Obama signs the repeal into law. Following the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2012, the National Sexual Violence Resource Center gathered these statistics, and in 2014, the Institute also concluded that about 15,500 transgender Americans currently serve in the armed forces. And since Don't Ask, Don't Tell has been repealed, there are still different things that the LGBT community has to face in regards to the military, such as conservatives fighting for a license to discriminate against LGBT service members by falsely asserting that religious freedom in the military is under attack, as well as veterans of same-sex marriages. It's unclear if they would receive spousal benefits if they had to travel out of their state of residence in order to get married, if the state of residence doesn't support same-sex marriage. And then the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell did nothing to remove the ban on transgender Americans serving in the military. Despite the prohibition, transgender people serve at double the rate of the general population, though they must keep their identity a secret or risk being discharged.